So I just realized that this video is scheduled to go up the day after election day. So let's hope today is a good day, y'all. If nothing else, I am so happy to announce that I will be participating in yet another readathon. I'm in the middle of Fortnite Frights readathon right now, and I've really been enjoying it, and I've been enjoying the challenges that's forced me to read different books that I wouldn't have considered otherwise. So I am so excited to be participating in Indigathon. This readathon takes place the entire month of November, which is also Native American Heritage Month. The readathon is being hosted by Brody from Etu Brody and Michelle from Thor Wants Another Letter. Their announcement videos, their Twitter, the readathon Twitter, pretty much all of the links related to Indigathon will be linked in the description box. In case you've never heard of it before, Indigathon was created to encourage people to read more books by Indigenous authors and featuring Indigenous characters. This is the prompt card. You have intersectionality, new to you, an author outside of the 5 civilized tribes, middle grade, a buddy read, a book outside of the US, the group book, non-bookish media, and then you have a free space. Personally, I'm only planning to hit the center line, so I'm planning to do new to you, free space, and the group book. Maybe I'll read books that fit other prompts, but I'm not planning to complete the entire bingo board like I tried to do with Fortnite Frights, just because I'm not a huge fan of middle grade and I don't want to commit to consuming non-bookish media, so I'm not going to try to force myself to do those things when it really isn't to my taste. And instead of listing one book for each prompt, I'm just going to list books by Indigenous authors that I'm interested in reading and let you know how each book fulfills each prompt, as far as I'm aware. It is possible that some of these books fulfill more prompts than I know of. Keep that in mind, do your own research if you're planning to read one of these books. Now let's start off with the books that I am planning to read for this readathon. I will be reading the group book, Heartbeat Braves by Pamela Sanderson. This is a romance contemporary book. Our main character, Rayanne, works at the Crooked Rock Urban Indian Center, where she is forced to work on a project with the new leader's nephew, who has absolutely no interest in the center or its work. I'm imagining this is a book with an enemies to lovers vibe. Historically, romance books haven't really been my thing, and contemporary books also haven't really been my thing, but I am trying to branch out more. I'm very eager to get on top of this group book and be able to discuss it with other people doing the readathon. Also, in case you weren't aware, the ebook for Heartbeat Braves, I believe, is also on sale on Amazon right now. I think it's going for $2.99. I would look into it if you're interested. For a book by an author new to me, I'm going to be reading Elatsoe by Darcie Little Badger. I was planning to read this for Fortnite Frights readathon, but when I decided that I was gonna do Indigathon, I decided to save this book for November, especially because it's also the November pick for the Bibliophiles book club, so I thought now would be a perfect time to read it so that I could participate in the discussion. Like I mentioned in my Fortnite Frights TBR video, I saw this book on Books and Lala's channel first, and I've been interested in picking it up ever since. Elatsoe takes place in an alternate America where things like monsters and magic are commonplace. For example, our main character Elatsoe can raise the spirits of dead animals. When Elatsoe's cousin is murdered, she decides to go digging and prying into all of the town's secrets that they've been trying so hard to hide. This book would also fulfill the prompt for other than the 5 civilized tribes. And for the free space, I want to read The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, although this book does also fulfill the prompt for other than the 5 civilized tribes. The Only Good Indians is a horror thriller novel that features 4 Native American men who, during one hunting season, do something that is only described as disturbing. Ultimately, they come to regret the event, especially when 10 years later, an entity seems to be hunting them down for revenge. I'm really excited to read this book, mostly because I want to hold on to the spooky season vibes a little bit longer, so I'm thinking this might be the first book out of all 3 that I try to read, but like I've mentioned in other videos, I'm kind of dependent on my library, so let's see if I can get the book. And I have another Stephen Graham Jones book on this list, Mongrels. Again, this would fulfill the prompt for other than the 5 civilized tribes. Mongrels follows a young boy who lives with his aunt and uncle. His aunt and uncle are known as mongrels or mixed bloods. What this means isn't really described. All we know is that for 10 years, they've been on the run from the law and from a society that doesn't understand them and doesn't want them. Everything is about to change, however, because they're about to find out if this young boy is like his aunt and uncle. Like I said, the description doesn't really describe what a mongrel is, and if you don't want to know any more about this book, please skip ahead to this timestamp so that you're not spoiled. But Goodreads has this labeled as a werewolf book, so I'm assuming they're werewolves. I'm really excited about this. I don't usually hear about werewolves unless it's included in a romance book, which is not the vibe I'm going for right now. The next book that I'm interested in is The Marrow, Thieves by Cherie Dimaline. This would fulfill the prompt for books and authors outside of the US because I believe the author is from Canada. In this book, we are in a dystopian world where people have lost the ability to dream and have gone mad as a result, except for Indigenous people. For some reason, Indigenous people still have the ability to dream, and it seems like the cure to this problem may lie in their marrow. As a result, Indigenous people have been forced to go on the run as they are being hunted down to harvest their marrow. Can you tell I'm in in the mood for like darker, spookier books. I don't think Halloween vibe is really gonna leave me for a while. The next book on the list is The Bone People by Keri Hulme. This book would fulfill the prompt for other than the US and intersectionality. This book takes place in New Zealand and follows Carowyn Holmes, who is asexual, aromantic, and half Maori. Carowyn has been exiled from her family and has been living in isolation in a tower near the sea. Am I getting princess vibes or am I getting pandemic vibes? I don't really know, but I'm into it. One night, a man named Simon attempts to rob her, but instead ends up giving her one of his prized possessions. Carowyn starts falling for Simon and also falls under the spell of his adoptive Maori father, Joe. That is the exact phrase used in the synopsis. I genuinely don't know if the implication is that she falls in love with Simon and with his dad, Joe. That's not the vibe that I'm getting. I think whatever romance is involved in this book is between Carowyn and Simon, and it's more of a platonic relationship with Simon's father, but I don't know. The next book is Monkey Beach by Eden Robinson, which would fulfill the prompt for other than the US. This book takes place in Canada near the reservation Kitimat. I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, and if I did, please let me know. Our main character, Lisa Marie, has been haunted by ghosts and premonitions and monsters for her entire life. One day, her brother tragically dies, and Lisa Marie decides to take her speedboat and go looking for his body. As she's searching for him, we get to learn more about her life and about her family as well. The next book I'm interested in is This Town Sleeps by Dennis E. Staples. This book would fulfill the prompt for other than the 5 civilized tribes and intersectionality. Our main character, Marion, is an Ojibwe man who starts a relationship with a closeted white man named Shannon. One night, Marion accidentally brings a dog back to life, who then leads him to the grave of Caden, an Ojibwe basketball star who was murdered. I'm sure you can tell where this is going. Marion decides to investigate the murder. There is more information in the synopsis if you're interested in looking it up. I personally feel like this is probably enough and you shouldn't learn more. The less information, the better in my opinion. The last book on the list is Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. Again, if I didn't pronounce this right, please let me know. I do try to look up the pronunciation for names, but I don't always get a solid answer. Freshwater fulfills the prompt for other than the US. This book follows Ada, a young Nigerian woman. Ada was quite literally prayed into existence by her parents, but as she grows up, they realize that something may have gone wrong. Ada is a volatile child, but when she goes to a college in the US, she experiences a traumatic event, and her already existing instability develops into alternate selves. I believe this is supposed to be a dissociative identity disorder, but it's not labeled as such in the synopsis. Those are all the books by Indigenous authors that I'm currently really looking forward to. Of course, there are so many more books out there that you could read for Indigathon or should just read throughout the year. So if you have any other books that you love by Indigenous authors or you're participating in the readathon, please comment below and let's talk about it. In the meantime, make sure to subscribe if you're interested in getting more bookish content from me. I do try to post every Wednesday and Saturday, so there's definitely more content to come. I'll see you in the next one, y'all.